Do you know, one of the things I love most about Edinburgh is that one minute you can be somewhere like this, in the middle of the city, surrounded by beautiful historical buildings. The next minute you're here in a beautiful green open space, which makes you think you could be miles away in the middle of the countryside. Today we're going to find one of those locations. We're going to start up here on Princes Street near to the Scott Monument just behind me, and we're going to wander down into town to find the Royal Botanical Gardens. And as always on the way, I'm going to point out restaurants, bars and places of interest. Let's get started. It's an absolutely glorious day here in Princes Street Gardens, and there's loads of people just sitting around sunbathing and lying on the grass. It should be a great day as well to visit the Botanical Gardens. The Mayflowers will be out in bloom. It should be really pretty. Anyone fancy an ice cream? Maybe later. Right, we're going to head over here. We need to cross over Princes Street to head down to the Botanics. One end of Princes Street to the other. This here is an Edinburgh landmark, BB's Bakehouse, especially if you like macarons. Next we need to cross George Street. There's a statue of King George. And like any town in Scotland, you're going to find an all bar one. Food's pretty good actually in there. Well, here we are at the top of Hannover Street, and if you look very closely, right over there on the horizon, you can see the Firth of Forth. It's quite a hike. We're not going all the way to the Firth of Forth, just about halfway down. A lot of these fabulous old buildings used to be banks, and of course now they've been converted into restaurants and cafes. I love this one, Hannover 71. And just behind me, here's Grand Cru Restaurant and Bar. The cocktails in here are fantastic. When I used to work in big corporate, this was almost one of our extra meeting rooms because we were always in there. Don't miss some of these restaurants down these side streets. Chez Jules, one of the best. Next, we've just crossed Queen Street, and there's something really fab about Queen Street. Just look at this. If you own property on Queen Street, you'll get a key to Queen Street Gardens. Private gardens, they're absolutely gorgeous, but of course you can't go in there unless you're a resident or a business with a key. Here's a sneaky peek through the railings. Actually, if you were to get into Queen Street Gardens, it would be one of those places in Edinburgh where you could believe that you were actually out in the countryside. Lots of art galleries down here, and where there's an art gallery, there's often a great little cafe just down the stairs. Fine Art Society on the other side of the road there. This is one of those Edinburgh streets that reminds you how hilly the city is. It's actually quite a steep incline. We're down at the foot of Dundas Street now, and there are some fabulous buildings here. If you're heading to the Botanical Gardens, it's well worth looking out for this little row of shops here, just at the base of Dundas Street. That coffee shop, Coffee Angel, is one of the best in Edinburgh. The coffee is superb. It looks pretty nondescript, to be honest. Well worth going inside, though. And at the end of the row of shops, look at the clock. This is the Cannon Mills clock, presented in 1945, and that is the Toll House Cafe, just on the banks of the Water of Leith. I'm passing by all these coffee shops, and every time I think I'm going to go in, but we've got a mission today, and that's the Botanical Gardens. Oh, another art gallery and a gorgeous picture of Bass Rock out at North Berwick. Right, we're getting close to the Botanical Gardens. It's the East Gate we're looking for today. And here we are, the East Gate of the Royal Botanical Gardens in Edinburgh. Let's go inside. At the East Gate, there's a cafe. More coffee temptation, but I'm resisting. The Royal Botanical Garden is an expansive space spread out over 72 acres, split into various themed areas. Let's go and immerse ourselves. See, already we're starting to forget that we're in the middle of the city. This is absolutely gorgeous. Look at this. And like anywhere, the best thing to do is to wander off the main paths to find the hidden gems. Honestly, you wouldn't even know you were in the city anymore. I can't hear the cars, can't hear any sirens, and there's hardly anybody about. Oh, I said the Mayflowers would be in bloom. Look at that beautiful pink. And if you're like me and you've absolutely no idea what all these flowers and plants are, everything is marked. Oh, I do love a good waterfall, as you know. Now, this part of the Botanical Gardens is a Japanese mountainside, but I've seen plants from all over the world, plants from Turkey and as far afield as Serbia. The landscaping is just gorgeous. Once we're away from the rock garden, everything gets a little bit more wooded, but there are still some incredible, beautiful flowers to be seen. And there are plenty of places to sit down and just contemplate the beauty. Look at this gigantic tree. It has multiple trunks. Unsurprisingly, all that was known as the Woodland Garden. Over here is the Chinese collection. Chinese-themed bridge with dragons and pagodas. This is called the China Pavilion. The Botanics put on events all the way through the year, and particularly impressive is the Botanical Light Show at Christmas. Now, we came a couple of years ago, and I'm going to put a link to that video up there in the corner because it's really well worth coming to see. This whole area, for instance, was decked out as a sort of weird science fiction forest. Right in the centre of the Botanical Gardens is this Inverleith House, and it's surrounded by little shops and cafes. During the Christmas light show, they do some projection onto the side of the house. It looks absolutely incredible. Cafe with plenty of places to sit out. Now we're heading through here to another part of the Botanical Gardens. This is the terrace. I think those ducks have found somewhere nice and peaceful to sleep. And there's the back of Inverleith House. I love that, almost turret-style architecture. There really is so much to see here. I mean, 72 acres is huge. That's twice as big as Blackpool Pleasure Beach. I'm only going to be able to scratch the surface here this afternoon as to what you can see here at the Royal Botanical Gardens in Edinburgh. But let's keep going, there's lots more. Look at this incredible hedge that borders the terrace area of the Botanical Gardens, almost stretching off into infinity. I can't get over the size of this hedge. And on the other side of that huge hedge, the terraces and all these beautiful spring flowers. One part of the Royal Botanical Gardens that we can't go into today is the glass houses, the biomes, where all the tropical plants are housed. Now, they're actually rebuilding and renovating a lot of this space. It is so impressive inside there, seeing all those tropical plants, and you can really feel the heat when you're inside. They have these gigantic lilies and Venus flytraps and carnivorous plants and all such like. And there's also this one plant that only flowers once every couple of years, but it stinks like rotting flesh apparently once it's open. Now, you might think that's absolutely disgusting, but the idea is that it attracts the flies, and the flies help the pollination. Yeah, there's a glimpse of those glass houses and the work in progress. We'll definitely come back and go inside once they're finished. Well, I'm not sure about the glass houses. These look like tropical ferns to me, but what do I know? That is a tree, isn't it? Yep, sometimes as you're walking along, the buildings of Edinburgh peep through the trees at you, but most of the time you can still suspend your disbelief and think you're way out in the countryside. And we're quite close to the way we came in now, and this is known as the pond. I've already spotted some quite exotic ducks, but I can't get close enough to photograph them. Well, I've really enjoyed this afternoon, walking all the way down from Princes Street, down Dundas Street, past all those fabulous cafes and art galleries, down here to the Royal Botanical Gardens in Edinburgh. Aren't they just absolutely superb and breathtaking in the May sun? All those flowers blooming and colourful. I'll be back to the Botanical Gardens once they open those glass houses, because believe me, some of the plants inside there are incredible to see. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Rog Vlog. If you enjoyed the video, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Until the next video, remember, there's always something to see. So get out there and find it.